Hello and welcome to Military Mantra. Today we have Captain Amrit Koijam from the Indian Army, and we'll try to understand in this podcast his journey of joining the Indian Army, life in the Indian Army at various places, and life lessons that he has learned over his service. We'll also understand his journey after the Indian Army in the corporate world, and also various life lessons that he has learned and also applied his lessons from the army there and in his own journey in the corporate and in the world of fitness. So thanks, Captain Amrit, for being here and sharing your experiences with all of us.
Thank you, Akash. Thanks for having me here.
So, Captain Amrit, if you could start telling us, how was your journey from Impal in Manipur, where you were the youngest of the siblings, and you had a dream of wearing the olive green back then. So, if you could start your journey from there.
Good morning, Akash, and to all the audience here. I hail from the second corner of the country called Manipur, a beautiful place, and I was the youngest among six siblings. Both my parents were teachers, primary school teacher and high school teacher, and I was the youngest among the six siblings. Since childhood, I was fiercely independent, uh, bright in studies, well known in the school as school prefect and captain. So, I had a discipline and I want to do disciplines to do something with discipline my whole life. I joined Boy Scouts in class six, and frankly speaking, my father always wanted me to be a civil servant, an IS officer. So, I was studying hard to accomplish his dream, and I was working hard for that. So during when I was doing graduation in Shillong, St. Anthony's College, Shillong, I started preparing for civil service. But till then, olive green was not in my thing. My elder brother, he's the eldest in the family. He was a very uh, football player in Manipur, national state player, and he was in Manipur police. Total contrast of what I was during the period. So I was more into studies, and I wanted to accomplish my father's dream of becoming an IS officer. But once I understood, the bureaucracy and how they work, frankly speaking, under the remote control of various politicians, I really was against it because I'm fiercely independent. I cannot be subdued. That's when during the third year of our graduation, this forms was circulating, combined defense service of, and that was the year 1990. That was like October 1998. Okay, so before the Kargil war. I applied and to a few of my friends and from Shillong, and we got selected for interview, which was scheduled in July 1999, and Kargil war was going on during that period. So by that time, I had completed my graduation in BSc Botany honors from St. Anthony's College, Shillong, and the interview came in July. So when we went for the interview, we were told it is very, very difficult. You will be screened out from day one, and rest assured you will be screened out from day one. So we were mentally prepared. We just carried some minimal apparel, clothes, attire meant for the interview. There is a group command task where you have to wear short, then you have to wear formals for the final interview. But interview was on the fifth day, something, you might be screened now. So me and my friend, we just carry some extra pocket money, thinking that we will be screened out. It's all very difficult. So then we will roam around Goa and come back in few days. That's how the journey began. And I was selected out of we were 50, and our interview began on 4th of July. And that was the first time, Akash, I traveled by train. Forget about flights. Okay, 1999 July, and wave of patriotism and nationalism was going on in train. When I was traveling in train, all the songs, the live narration of what was happening at Kargil War. Kargil War was going on, and they changed the entire momentum of the blood flow within me. So I went there for this thing interview. Day one, they out of 50 people, they screen out 20. They screen out 30, and only 20 of us were screening. And it continued for the next 5 days, and I was selected, and I accepted what God had given me. And army tagline when we go for SSB interview is, do you have it in you? So I felt, though I was not mentally prepared in terms of that active life, I was, more into studies. That's when I have it in me. So before the result was announced, of the 20 people, the brigadier came up to the stage and he mentioned something like Nana Patekar tried, Amitabh Bachchan tried, round peg in a square hole kind of thing. And only two of us, two names were announced, and I was the first one, serial number 6, and I got selected. And I felt blessed that God has given me an opportunity to do something for the country, and I'm ready.
Nice, nice, sir. Sir, if you could also speak about, your experience in the SSB, because a lot of people keep trying for SSB, fail also. If you can walk us through your process, how did you go through the 5 days of grueling SSB?
Yeah. So as I had clearly mentioned, I was preparing for civil service and not a too gung-ho about olive green. But the preparation is quite similar. First, they have to prepare for combined defense service. They have to prepare for general studies and English paper. Okay. And to me, what is more important is, they need to be real. They need to be real, genuine. Okay. Don't try to tweak your questions and answers to please someone which you are not. Okay. What they were looking for is authenticity, leadership, honesty. How good are you as a team leader, or how good are you as a team player equally too? So, uh, you were asking me about this preparation, right? So, on the first day, when out of 50 people, when 20 of us got selected, we stayed in the dormitory in Bangalore. Our interview was in Bangalore, Kuan Road. And there were so many people who had come for the eighth time or seventh time or the last attempt, and they were like so much of confidence. Till the time I got selected, I'm not going to go back kind of thing. And I was, oh, is it? And it was my first time. And, they started challenging me. The few of them, they started mocking at me, taunting me. Oh, you are from Northeast. You live in the jungles. You live in the trees, or you live on the jungles. That I didn't feel good. And I was like, I know you are also a graduate. I'm also a graduate. I have studied. Ask me anything about the nook and corner of this country, every single small cities, because I have studied geography, history. I know everything about the country, and I respect that. And how can you talk Northeast as one? There are 8 states, and how can you talk club them as one state? And we live in a jungle. Such kind of conversations happen, and I was like, in my heart of hearts, I'm not going to let them win. I'm not going to let them win. Come what may, be it interview, be it a group discussion, be it command task. And so the first day is the screening, okay, where there is nothing wrong, there is nothing right. They will give you a blurry images. Out of that, you might see it for 2 minutes kind of thing, and another 5 minutes is like kind of group discussion. You just write it down, whatever comes to your mind, and there is nothing wrong, there is nothing right. Just speak with conviction. That is the first screening, which is very, very crucial. Okay, and after that, there will be a group discussion based on that images, and there will be group discussion. You will be screened out or screened in. 20 people will be screened in. The next 5 days of interviews will follow differences of this thing, command task, outdoor, indoor, And on the fifth day, there will be group discussions. On the fifth day, there will be interview, and this interview, according to me, is very, very important. They check everything in this interview, the final interview, how the distance apart from the interviewer and the interviewee, there is a quite distance, 5 feet kind of thing, so that they were checking your hearing power, your speaking power, your all the senses that you have. And during our time, there was this thing just beside that interviewer, there was a curtain. We were told that a psychologist was sitting there evaluating us, how genuine, because they were not just testing for some engineers or something. They were looking for leaders going to lead people, soldiers in war for the country, and one wrong decision by this individual can make families orphans and widows. That is very, very important according to me. And that was the final day of interview. In spite of that, there was one more on the sixth day. There was one more, assessment center. So we just go evaluation. All the interviewers and the commanders and different group leaders, they were all sitting together. We went inside, and they asked us a few questions. Especially in my case, it lasts for about 30 seconds to about 1 minute kind of thing on the final day. In my case, it lasted for about 5 minutes, because when I came out from that room, many people were waiting outside. My serial number was 6, and many people were waiting outside. They asked me, "Oh, why did you take so long? आप क्यों इतना टाइम क्यों लिया है? बाकी तो आधा दिस थिंग 30 सेकंड्स to 45 सेकंड्स में वो वापस आ गए." मैंने बोला, मेरे तो ये सवाल जवाब पूछा है कि वो लोग ने पूछा कि डू यू थिंक दैट यू विल बी सिलेक्टेड, राइट? मैंने आंसर दिया कि नो। मैंने आंसर दिया कि आई डोंट थिंक आई विल बी सिलेक्टेड, बिकॉज दे वर far better confident people, and I feel though I have done a lot good in all the parameters, except I feel I could have done better during the command task. So this is the reason I feel I was a little silent during the task. So I feel there are more deserving candidates according to me. And they told me, they taught me again, you are such an idiot. You were in borderline cases. You could have been selected, and you could have just say confidently, oh yes, I could, yes, I'll be selected. I'm just narrating everything that had happened. My message to the people who are really interested is just be genuine, be honest. They are looking for your honesty, your authenticity. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not know everything also, but you can evolve in the process. Be a good human being. Show empathy, kindness, so leadership as well as a team player capabilities. So this were my journey of the 5 days, that involves about command tasks, group discussions, and various tests, including interviews.
Got it, sir. So if you could also tell us about September 2nd, that is 2000s, when you joined or the passed out from the officer training academy. So if you could describe that moment when you became an officer from a gentleman cadet, if you can describe that feeling.
Every cadet, gentleman and lady cadet, they from day one of their training, we have one board, why big board. Okay, so we wrote it down. We call it days of liberty. So what is the total number of training? There are 1,000 days of like 2,000 days, and every day backward calculation will cut 1,099. So that was a day, which we all longingly have been waiting for. That day we have, the training has been brutal. The training has been the training is really, really tough. Okay. And now I'm an athlete, and in athlete, when we train for marathon, we have some days of concept of recovery also. Okay, but in army training days, especially in commando and army training days, there is no concept as such as recovery also. Our day begins at 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, we have to get ready for all the 5 to 6 dresses that we need to wear in a day. We have to get ready for that, and the PT begins, the drill begins, everything. So the training was quite hard. Uh, Few of the lessons learned even from the day one of the training is many of the 360 cadets during our time, and some were bureaucrats sons, some were politicians sons, but within the first week itself, all became all of us became sync. It's like one for all for one. Fall in an activity of 80 people, if one person, lazy person, comes late, the whole 79 of us will get punishment till that person comes. What was that teaching us? There is no concept of individual. Don't try to be number one. Even when there is a race, cross country race, we were never interested in becoming number one or first position or second. It's like whether the whole team has come closer at a very pretty decent time. It also teaches us to take responsibility of your buddy system, of your teammates, to go along with the team. So 2nd September, we have all been waiting for. Our parents are coming. That was a passing out. Okay, it was a unreal, incredible feeling, and especially after the passing out, when we were passing out the antimpa, the final step. Okay, the final step. We were all about 20 years to 20 to 23 years, kind of, very young, straight away from the freshest. But what I'm going to speak is very, very important. I have noted it down. हमने कसम खाए while passing out. The last step, हमने जो स्टार लगाने से पहले हमने सबने कसम खाए देश के लिए. So I will just read out this oath taking that we have done, and the soldiers also do it in the soldiers this thing, and officers also do it in the officers. The relevance of this is Akash in today's scenario when we are looking at globally, nationally, many bright people who had worked hard, who had joined up various workplaces, they seem to lose the very essence of why they are working, the fundamentals, the ethics. But at the age of 20 to 21, हमने जो Indian Army का, as an officer, when we passed out, we took this oath, and this oath, I, Lieutenant Amrit Koijam, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India, as by law established, and that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as commissioned officer in the regular army of the Union of India, and that I will observe and obey all commands of the President of the Union of India and the commands of any officer set over me, even to the peril of my life. हमने ये कसम खा के उसी दिन 2 सितंबर को लास्ट कदम लिया था। और उसके अलावा एक और भी है जो आईएमए में आपने भी सुना होगा, चैटवुड क्रेडो लिखा है। चैटवुड क्रेडो, दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। एज एन ऑफिसर, एवरी इंडियन ऑफिसर जो यूनिफॉर्म पहनता है, चाहे वो इंडियन आर्मी है, नेवी है, एयरफोर्स है, हम इसकी इस प्रिंसिपल, इस मोटो से जीता है। ठीक है, इसमें लिखा है चैटवुड क्रेडो, द सेफ्टी, ऑनर एंड वेलफेयर ऑफ योर कंट्री कम फर्स्ट ऑलवेज एंड एवरी टाइम। कंट्री कम्स फर्स्ट हमेशा। The honor, welfare, and comfort of the man you command come next. Next comes my soldiers. And last, your own ease, comfort come last, always and every time. हम हमेशा लास्ट आता है, सबसे पहले देश है, उसके बाद हमारा सोल्जर्स है, और मैं एज एन ऑफिसर में लास्ट आता है। तो दिस टू प्रिंसिपल्स जो ओथ टेकिंग है और ये चैटवुड क्रेडो है, ये मद्देनजर रखते हुए, या we all of us let it sink in our DNA, and from that day we started a new life for the country. So you can well imagine then 99% of us, made effort to live up to that standard, to this expectations, and I was one of them, and I did it. Until this day, if something happens, I'll always go back, at the border of like volunteer for the country.
Got it, sir.
So
That's very nice.
that's about the 2 September.
Got it, sir. So then you joined the 10 Garhwal Rifles, which is a legendary regiment. If you could speak about, your first posting, how was that like, and how did you prepare for what was gonna come to you?
I was very, very fortunate to join the 10 Garhwal Rifles, a Royal Battalion. Uh, the induction was I was very well groomed by the battalion. So 6 officers from Officers Training Academy, Chennai, got commissioned in Garhwal Regiment. Okay. 5th Garhwal, 6th Garhwal, 10, 11, 13, 14. So the first 14 days we went to, so after passing out from OTA on 2nd September, we had a break about 21 days, and we thoroughly enjoyed. And after that, the real challenges happened. Till the academy for 1 year, the 10 months of training, we were always together. We have each other's back. Now you are independent. You're like a, new bride. किसी नया घर में जा रहा है, and lot of expectations from you. So 6 of us, हम लेंसडाउन में रिपोर्ट किया था। वेरी ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस, उत्तराखंड में, वेरी वेरी ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस। एंड चेन्नई में 1 साल ट्रेनिंग करने के बाद वी हैव फॉरगॉटन कि दुनिया में सर्दी भी होता है। we did not have any woolen cloth, we did not have any this thing. So first day we were welcomed with fraud, Kohra, and it was so very cold कि we went to the market and Lansdowne की हम सब 6 officers हैं, सबसे महंगा वाला जर्सी ऑब्लिक ऑफिसर मेस में पहनने के लिए 180 वाला रुपये वाला मिला था हमको ऑफिसर मेस में पहनने के लिए। I still remember the story. So day one we spent there, and quite a familiarization about your expectations about what Garhwal Rifle कैसा है, उधर का माहौल कैसा है, लड़कों का बिहेवियर कैसा है। We were very very lucky at that moment, during this period, the adjutant उसी टाइम का था, I still know him, ब्रिगेडियर चौधरी। उसने ना हम 6 आदमी को 13 दिन के लिए पूरा गांव भेज दिया। उत्तराखंड में है, आप लोग का जवान जो आपके साथ लड़ाई में जाएगा या कारगिल में जाएगा, वो पौड़ी गढ़वाल, तेरी गढ़वाल, चमोली गढ़वाल, रुद्रप्रयाग, वैली ऑफ फ्लावर्स, ये सब वो हमारा इलाका है। आप लोग ने इसी गांव में 13 दिन रह के आना है। और हमको एक गेस्ट हाउस का एड्रेस दिया। फर्स्ट डे हम गेस्ट हाउस में रुका, फॉरेस्ट गेस्ट हाउस। फिर उसके बाद हमने गांव 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 गए। आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 2000, ईयर 2000, वेयर वी हैड नो मोबाइल फोन। ठीक है, तो उसी टाइम वो लोग ने क्या किया। बट मैसेज क्या है कि गढ़वाल राइफल में उत्तराखंड में हर घर में सेकेंड जनरेशन और थर्ड किसी के घर में एक सोल्जर है। ठीक है, तो सोल्जर इज रेस्पेक्टेड, वेल लव्ड, एंड ये मैसेज पास कर चुका है थ्रू एक्स सर्विसमैन की 6 नया ऑफिसर्स आ रहे हैं हमारे गढ़वाल राइफल, ये हमारा फैमिली मेंबर्स है, ऐसे। ठीक, मैसेज हैज बीन सेंड आउट, बट वी हैव बीन गिवन सम एसओएस की ये जगह में ही एड्रेस है, ये जगह में रुक सकता है, ये जगह में रुक सकता है। तो हमने एक रात, फर्स्ट रात ये फॉरेस्ट गेस्ट हाउस में रुकने, थैलीशियन में फॉरेस्ट गेस्ट हाउस में रुकने के बाद वी स्टार्टेड विद फुल ऑफ एंथुसियाज्म। हम एक एक गांव गए, तो एक ब्रेकफास्ट एक गांव में गए, लंच एक गांव में खाए। हम 6 आदमी के लिए 6 सरपाई लगाए, बाहर बाहर सोया। ठीक है, पूरा विलेज लाइफ। एंड हम 6 officers, we did not waste time ki we try to cover as many villages as possible. मकसद क्या है उसका? This is very very beautiful, Akash. None of the high paying corporate worlds or elite corporates now will not do this kind of induction. Okay, हमको ऐसे सिखा रहा है love and respect has to be earned. Number one. Number two, empathy is very much important as in a leader. ठीक है, अब फोर्स से चार्ली चैपलिन ने बताया ना, when everything can be managed with love, you only use power when love is not when that thing is not manageable with love. That was the message, okay, empathy key. So we were sent to understand the geography and economic background of the people, of the soldiers that we were going to. In army we call it command, in corporate we call it manage. Okay, ये सब सीख के आए. Then what I have understood from that incident is like हर गांव में है ना, चाहे वो यूनिट में आपका सहायक हेल्प करेगा या कुछ भी पोजीशन में है, they were like that, the Shah Rukh Khan, the Amitabh Bachchan of that village. This is my lessons, and how much respect have they been given to that soldier in that particular family, in that particular village, and how as an officer am I supposed to treat in the unit. This is my lessons learned. ये 14 दिन का हम इंडक्शन करके आए. Lessons, beautiful lessons learned at the age of 21. Okay, यूनिट पहुंच गया, अलग अलग से यूनिट चला गया. My unit was very good again, and it's one of the best. You call it 10 Garhwal, and 10 Garhwal का भी बहुत सम्मान आएगा बात करते समय. आकाश, मुझे को प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने 2 स्टार सितारा दे दिया ओटीए में. हम बहुत खुश होकर आए कि ऑफिसर बन गया. हमारा यूनिट का ट्रेडिशन है कि 90 days, फॉर 90 days अगेन 3 महीने के लिए मैंने 10 गढ़वाल में जवान के साथ लाइन में रहना है. और ऑफिसर बनने से पहले जितना का जवान की तरफ से जो रैंक है, लांस नायक, नायक, ठीक है, हवलदार, क्वार्टर मास्टर का रोल, मेस हवलदार का रोल, सभी रोल मैंने 90 days में करना है. ठीक है, नाउ यू हैव हर वो लोगों ने मेरे शेड्यूल बनाए, इंडक्शन बनाए कि 1 हफ्ते के लिए इसका रोल करेगा, 1 हफ्ते के लिए नाइट ड्यूटी 2 घंटे के लिए, पूरा रोल 90 days में कवर कर दिया. एंड मुझे को भी एक होमवर्क दिया है. आई वाज अटैच्ड विद अल्फा कंपनी. आई वाज गिवन अल्फा कंपनी. एक अल्फा कंपनी में 120 लड़के हैं. मेरी जिम्मेवारी है कि, एंड माय बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम वाज मैं हिंदी मालूम नहीं था उसी टाइम. ठीक है, तो मेरे को एक बदी दे, अभी दैट बडी सुरेश प्रसाद सकलानी, अभी भी मेरे दोस्त है. ठीक है, बट जसवीर मेरे को बदी दिया. एंड एक और होमवर्क दिया मेरे एजुकेटर ने कि 120 आदमी है ना, 1 महीने के अंदर सभी का नाम, सभी का फैमिली का नाम, सभी का बच्चे का नाम, सभी का माँ बाप का नाम सब आपको मालूम होना चाहिए कि उस फैमिली में क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जसबीर ने मुझे को विश किया, राम राम जसबीर, राम राम. हम गढ़वाल राइफल में राम राम बोलता है, जय श्री राम. तो राम राम, राम राम, राम राम साहब मुझे को बोलेगा. मैंने जवाब देते समय, आई एम नॉट सपोज टू से जस्ट राम राम. राम राम जसबीर, माँ कैसी है? बिकॉज जसबीर मदर इज हैड ए open heart surgery. So you are supposed to know something about each one of them. And during the everyday greeting, चाहे वो रास्ते में मिला है, morning greeting से, you are not now you wish me good morning Amrit, Captain Amrit. Akash में good morning Akash, how are you, how to studies going, how to work going. You are expected to speak another 20 seconds of that few vocabularies that can connect on human to human connect. So this was my biggest learning, and I did not prepare myself. They prepared me during this 90 days, and on the 91st day, they again dined me in officer mess, and I was ready. Akash, so this that 14 days of Jordan का जो गांव में induction भेजा है, and this 90 days of me investing by the unit, not letting me do officer's role, but letting me do all the roles. How it helped is, आपने ऑफिसर बनने के बाद कभी कभी देखो रात की बहुत बारिश हो रहा है, ठीक है, एंड आपने जो कई कई जाके 1 बजे, रात के 1 बजे आए, दो सेंट्री थोड़ा सा आधा नींद सोया है. It depends on you. How much of discount factor can you give to that individual trying to be putting yourself in their shoes कि ये environment में, ये situation में आप कौन सा काम करके, what would you have react when you have a situation? There can be 2 reactions. So it allows us to give me especially to give some discount factor, weighing the pros and cons if it is not too much peril for the country. So Dan Garhwal really groomed me and made me a fine human being. I won't say only an officer, but a good human being.
Got it, sir. I really like the part where you spoke about the empathy, because these are the soldiers whom you're going to lead. So trying to be in your shoes, think from their perspective. That is something which I keep hearing from other officers also, that you think about your soldiers. There was somebody whom I was interviewing, Major Samartur. He would say, when they are eating, they would only eat one chapati because they know my buddy would also eat, right? So he will just pass it on so that somebody else can also eat. So that's something kind of, every officer tells me in a different way.
Akash,
Yeah.
you spoke about, eating together in chapati
Yeah.
in Garhwal Rifle, 12 o'clock, no? So we have this duty officer, and many of the time I was a duty officer at the unit. When we are in peace posting, okay, we have peace posting, we have field posting, like in Kashmir or Northeast. So when we are in peace posting, no, how much we really care, genuinely care is एक duty officer. For example, you are duty officer, I am duty officer for the day. 12 बजे है ना, जवान का जो लंगर है, 12 बजे सारे it starts from 11:30. इधर से आप 1 बजे तक ना शेर लंगर का खाना टेस्ट करना है. क्या है जवान जो कैसे खाना खा रहा है, मसला कम है, बिकॉज हर जवान की 6 कंपनीज होता है. हर हमने पेटी कैश थोड़ा पेटी मिशेलेनियस एक्सपेंस के लिए थोड़ा पैसा दे के रखा है, स्पेशली फॉर दिस, फॉर देम टू हैव गुड फूड. ओके, जो राशन आए उसके ओवर एंड अबव. दाल है, दाल में मसाला कम है, धनिया क्यों नहीं डाला है, और ये सब ना, आई मीन स्मॉल स्मॉल थिंग. एंड it's a big thing for them. It might be a small thing for us, but it's a big thing for them. So it's very very particular when we go for duty as a duty officer. हर लंगर में जाकर चेक करेगा और रिमार्क लिखेगा कि मसाला कम है, मसाला थोड़ा खरीदो, एंड ये क्यों नहीं है. So we really care.
Got it, sir. Sir, if you could also speak about Kargil, where you were posted, and if you could describe the whole situation and the scene there, and what were the ground realities there when you were at those heights defending the borders.
I was in Kargil. I went to Kargil straight away after having a 5-star mission. That is a 1 year of United Nations peacekeeping at Lebanon. After coming back from Lebanon, so I went to Kargil. I would say Kargil. I love Kargil. Best days of my life. Okay, so the challenge in Kargil is entirely different. Okay, so I was attached with you will be mentioning something about a special frontier force, right? So I was with a different. I was in deputation for 2 years with SFF. With all the soldiers are Tibetan Buddhist. Okay, so for the first 5 days, I was acclimatized at the base area. That was, a different Indian Army unit, Maha Regiment, something. Okay. I was not comfortable because my soldiers were in Kargil Heights, and they were in 14 multiple locations. Okay. I want to be with them, and I feel like a foreigner. Okay. I had to do 5 days of acclimatization, and I told the commanding officer, "Sir, can I go up in third day?" Why? Is some women waiting up for you there with red roses and carpets? But I just want to be with my soldiers, and because that 5 days of acclimatization also, no, it was too slow for me. Okay, so I wanted to go out. Then the real journey began. So on after my acclimatization, when I had to go up, and all the movements, all the haircuts, Akash, it has to be after 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night. Why? Because your climb will begin, and we climb when the snow, becomes a little bit hard. Uh, During summer, आप 5 बजे 6 बजे 7 बजे तक सनलाइट हो जाता है. फिर उसके बाद 10 11 बजे जब बर्फ मुला हार्ड हो जाता है उसी टाइम, देन वी हैव टू स्टार्ट क्लाइंबिंग. ठीक है, सो I think we started climbing. I started climbing at 1 o'clock at night for the first from 9,000. Now at the base I was at 9,000 feet. From 9,000 I had to go up to 17,700 or 17,500 in different phases. So the first was with I think we were around 6 of us. So 9,000 to 12,000 जाना है पहले एक रात के लिए. Then we reached 12,000. 12,000 से then again 14,000, 13,500. We spent one night there. Acclimate because what happens now is that the intensity of oxygen is becoming lesser and lesser and lesser. Your lungs, your body system has to every you walk for 100 meters, there is hardly any oxygen, you get tired. Now when I am narrating these stories, no, every 100 meter जान खत्म हो जाता है कि ऑक्सीजन नहीं है. ठीक है, I'm just starting about from 9,000 feet से लेके मैं 12,000 तक ही पहुंचा, ये कहानी बोल रहा है. Now and this is the year 2005. Now try to imagine those 50 days of Kargil war. ठीक है, हमारे जवान, ठीक है, कैसे, I mean hats off to all of them. ठीक है, एंड 12,000 फीट पहुंच गया, 12,000 से अगेन 13,500 एंड 13 अल्टीमेटली ये फिर 5 फेस में करके फाइनली आई रीच द माई प्लेस। ठीक है, 17,700 में पहुंच गया कि नाउ दिस थिंग फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी वाज 120 सोल्जर्स होना चाहिए। सो हमेशा ऐसे नहीं होता है, 80 सोल्जर्स, 80 आई वाज विद 80 सोल्जर्स, बट द बेस्ट पार्ट द थिंग द इश्यूज वाज आई हैड टू आई वाज रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू वी वर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फ्रॉम 14 मल्टीपल लोकेशन। हर पोस्ट में तो 7 to 8 people मिनिमम भी चाहिए। ये सब ये सेट हो गया सामने। वी वर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर अबाउट आई वाज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर अबाउट सेफ्टी ऑफ 5 kilometer ऑफ क्रो फ्लाइट डिस्टेंस में, ऑन द टुवर्ड्स पाकिस्तान ऑब्लिक बिहाइंड एनिमी लाइन, वो लोग की तरफ से। सो that was it, and temperature so when I went up there in Kargil, there was ceasefire going on. ठीक है, the main issue was how do I safeguard the country, taking care of my own people. I was मैं और 10 लोग एक साथ में है, बाकी अलग 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 से 500 मीटर क्रो फ्लाइट डिस्टेंस में, 500 मीटर बर्फ की रास्ते से जाओ तो 3 घंटा लगता है। ठीक है, मिनिमम 3 आवर्स, 3 आवर्स। इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं है ऊपर, 17,700 फीट है, 14 डिफरेंट लोकेशन। आई वॉज ऑल of about say 23-24 years. It was extremely challenging because लड़कों को कैसे संभालना है, and that -20 and -40. So in Kargil, more than the enemy, we call it enemy, the challenge that we faced, that I faced, was uh, safety of my own people. Safety कहाँ से आ जाता है? Because of this inclement weather ना, inhospitable terrain and inclement weather, frostbite, chilblain, ये सब हो जाता है। So एवरी इवनिंग रिपोर्ट 6 बजे शाम को रिपोर्ट लेता है मैं हर जवान से, एक टेलीफोन, इंटरनेट टेलीफोन लेके, कि सभी सभी पोस्ट है ना, हर हर 14 लोकेशन से वो मुझे को रिपोर्ट दे देगा कि साहब सभी जवान ने हाथ मुंह धो लिया। Akash, you will be very, very surprised. My discussion with you and many of the few officers that you have been hearing, they must be talking all big things about, and I'm talking about the basic things, that can hinder, that can lower the morale of the soldiers who's going to fight for the country. And I'm talking about मेरे से शाम के 6 बजे की रिपोर्ट में सबने जवान रिपोर्ट देता है, साहब साहब सभी जवान ने हाथ मुंह धो लिया। एंड दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। ठीक है, क्योंकि एक आदमी रखा है पोर्टर, नेपली पोर्टर, हम वो डिस्टिंग बर्फ को पानी उबाल के 24 घंटे बर्फ को पानी कन्वर्ट करना है, एंड यूजिंग दैट वाटर हाथ मुंह धोना है। एंड व्हेन few of the soldiers have not even opened their socks for about say 3-4 days, and this thing allergy and chilblain and frostbite ने कहीं ना कहीं हो जाए, and that becomes very very, and amputation करना है, पाँव काटना है, ये सब all the things happen. Second thing was when I reached there, the how the ground was set. Okay, एक थंब रूल था, मैंने आपको बताया कि हर हरकत रात को 11 बजे के बाद या 12 बजे के बर्फ हार्ड होने के बाद जाना है। ठीक है, तो मेरे नेक्स्ट नेबरिंग यूनिट था गोरखा राइफल्स था, उधर हम गरोहा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में टिबिटेंस के साथ था। तो छुट्टी जा रहा था, बहुत जोश के साथ जाता है जवान को। ठीक है, नाउ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द सीज फायर सिचुएशन। देयर इज नो वॉर, देयर इज नो फाइटिंग गोइंग ऑन, बट वी हैव टू ऑब्जर्व द बॉर्डर, एलओसी। तो एक खबर आए कि कल रात 5 जवान छुट्टी जा रहा था, हमारा नहीं, दूसरा नेबरिंग डिस्ट्रिक्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट एवलांस आ गया। ठीक है, वो लोग ने ना 9:30 बजे निकल गया था, एंड बर्फ मतलब एवलांस आ गया तो सब उठा के लेके चला गया। तो and I was just about 3 days old in Kargil. Then I understood कि what should be my priority areas, where मैं कहाँ कहाँ पर फोकस करना है। एक तो सीज फायर है, नंबर वन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इज डेफिनेटली इंडिया को सेफगार्ड करना है, एलओसी जितना तक whatever development is taking place across the country, across the LOC, में मेरे जिम्मेवारी को वो लोग को हाईलाइट करना। ठीक है, then looking after my people was a most challenging thing, and so now working at 17,700 फीट, हरकत नहीं होता है बर्फ के ऊपर, ऑक्सीजन बहुत कम हो जाता है, खाना नींद नहीं आता है, खाना नहीं एपेटाइट नहीं होता है, नींद नहीं आता है। ठीक है, एंड वी वर सर्वाइविंग ऑन कैन फूड। ठीक है, फॉरगेट अबाउट फ्रेश फूड, फ्रेश एंड वेजिटेबल्स। ठीक है, तो मैं नवंबर में ऊपर गया था, बर्फ नवंबर दिसंबर जनवरी फरवरी मार्च तक बर्फ गिरते रहे। 3 मार्च को फर्स्ट सनलाइट आया था। ठीक है, एंड उसी हफ्ते में मेरे को एक एस एन ऑफिसर एक वाटर वीजा मेरे ऊपर नीचे से this thing चंडीगढ़ से फ्लाइट आए बोल के कैन यू बिलीव इट आई गॉट अराउंड 15 हरी मिर्ची, 5 से अदरक, एक एक इतना पैकेट का धनिया, एंड 15-16 प्याज मिला मेरे, और थोड़ा हरी मिर्च। इतना खुश हुआ कि जान आ गया कि बर्फ के ऊपर पूरा सफेद ही सफेद है, और कैन फूड खा रहा है, कैन का दिस थिंग। ठीक है, फ्रेश फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स नहीं, वो देख के ना बहुत खुश है मेरे जवान को। दो 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 ऐसे देख के हम सब ने एक एक दो मील तो साथ में खाए कि how I'm just narrating the basic things ki, life there, and these soldiers are still there as of today when we speak, and why we have not thought about them.
Got,
And yeah.
got it, sir. So, sir, your one story about Millie and Bhutto, who were not just your pets but also your comrades when you were there at those heights. So, if you could tell us a full story about it, about those two mountain dogs who became more of a soldiers with you.
Yes, Akash, at 17,700 फीट, जो उस हाइट में जो हम है ना, 70,000 या चाहे वो 15,000 फीट में है, in every post of India, there are some dogs, and those dogs are mountain dogs, totally different. They are gifted by God. Okay, they are huge, and because to be able to adjust, adapt in -20 to -40 degrees, their furs are different, their skin is different, they are ferocious, and they're very nice. Okay, so, and they safeguard they all. They also perform the responsibilities of a soldier. रात को guard करते रहेगा, and sometimes snow leopards come up at 17,000 feet, and they protect us, and they help us from minefields also. ठीक है, so in the case of Mili and Bhutto, what happened was when I just landed at Kargil, and कभी कभी मार्च ऑनवर्ड्स, मार्च से बर्फ गिरना थोड़ा कम हुआ है, तो हमारा वंस अ वीक काइंड ऑफ थिंग, हमारा फ्रेश राशन आ जाता है, फ्रेश। ठीक है, फ्रेश ऑब्लिक दिस थिंग, वंस अ वीक वाटर लेके आए थे। सो मेन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मेरे पास तक लेके आएगा, जो कंपनी हेडक्वार्टर है, जो मैं रहता है, तो वही तक आएगा। एंड बाकी जो मेरे 14 वाला 13 लोकेशन ऑफ पोस्ट है ना, वन वन पर्सन, टू पर्सन विल कम टू कलेक्ट इट, फ्रॉम देयर। So in one of the distance from one of the posts, I think Millie must have come to collect the राशन। ठीक है, जो राशन लेने आए। तो देन उसी बात में थोड़ा धूप हुआ था, तो मैं बाहर चाय पी रहा था। देन मेरे आई वाज स्टेइंग इन अ स्मॉल इग्लू टाइप ऑफ थिंग, स्मॉल इग्लू की 6 फीट तक का इग्लू होगा, वहीं पर रुका था। देन जब मैं बाहर से लड़कों से मिलके वापस आया था रूम में, तो बहुत ठंड लग रहा था। अंदर अंदर घुसे तो स्लीपिंग बैग के अंदर ऐसे घुसा मैंने, इट वाज अराउंड 11 o'clock इन द मॉर्निंग। स्लीपिंग बैग में ऐसे घुसा, पाँव रखा ठंडा में, कुछ हरकत हो रहा था कहीं अंदर से नहीं। देन आई फाउंड मिली देयर, मिली दूसरा पोस्ट है। देन उस दिन से वो मिली मेरे साथ ही रहे। ठीक है, नाम भी हमने मिली रखा। एंड ईश्वर ने, आई टुक इट एज, इट्स अ गॉड्स गिफ्ट कि वन, as an officer, I was taking care of 100 and say 80, मेरे 180 to 120 soldiers, and सबका planning, सबका देखभाल करना, सुबह से लेके शाम तक की हाथ मुंह धो लिया, ये किया, खाना खाए, लड़कों ने किया, कुछ बीमार है क्या। बट देयर वाज नॉट अ सिंगल सोल उसी वक्त में मुझे को पूछने के लिए कि कैप्टन अमृत, हाउ आर यू। ठीक है, बिकॉज आई वाज इन दैट दिस थिंग, एंड all with the discussion with few seniors, and this thing is all about the operational issues. Is everything okay in front of you? ठीक है, and I was attached with Indian this thing, Mahar Battalion. I was with this thing, Special Frontier Force. So things were a little bit different. So I was isolated. I was left of my own, कि without anybody asking me about my welfare, about my motivation. Then Millie came in. ठीक है, मिली आए, मिली सामने मेरे साथ में रहे 24 hours, वो देख रहा है। एंड वी ग्रो अप टुगेदर फॉर दोस लास्ट 2 months 3 months काइंड ऑफ थिंग विद मिली। सुबह से लेके शाम तक खाना उसको खिला रहे हैं, एंड उसको बाहर थोड़ा सा वॉक करने का। अदरवाइज out of 24 hours, 23 hours, Millie and me, we were just each other's companion. ठीक है, Millie started looking at my eyes, I started looking at his eyes, and then we understood each other's mood also. We grew together. Then after some time, Bhutto joined in. Bhutto के एक बॉर्डर की LOC या बॉर्डर पाकिस्तान, लोग बोले कि पाकिस्तान में घुसा है Bhutto। ठीक है, हमने Bhutto नाम रख लिया इसका। तो this thing, uh, I think for more than 6 months, ठीक है, मेरे साथ में रहे, मेरे रूम में रहे, मेरे साथ में रहे। And they were my constant companions. They were the ones who lifted up my morale, मेरे दिन का happiness, my source of motivation, because that gave me the energy to take care of the welfare and motivation of the 120 soldiers and safeguard the country. Frankly speaking, otherwise, as I mentioned, you in an army or like in uniform, only your course mates, are your real friends. Otherwise, either someone is always a junior or someone is always a senior. So that heart-to-heart talk is very, very difficult in uniform.
Got it, sir. So then how difficult was it when you had to, leave them and, move to probably a different posting or a different post? So how difficult was it?
It was very, very difficult, but ऑप्शन नहीं था because मेरे से take over करना है, he also loves dogs. Okay, मैंने बहुत अच्छी तरह as part of the entire handling taking over process, except the area of responsibility it is, I also handed over million bootholes. Okay, and he loves it. कि sir, I'll take care of them. Okay, and this once they grow up, once they gain the momentum of size and this thing, they started performing like a soldier on this. I mentioned, they safeguard the border, they bark at night, and they protect us from wild animals, jungle, this thing, snow leopard kind of, the wild boar कभी कभी गुम हो जाता है, this thing, but snow leopard आ जाते हैं ऊपर, ठीक है, so they really help us. Hmm.
It's Got it. So if you could also speak about the Special Frontier Force, the paratrooper training which you would have gone into, which is one of the most elite units which is there, which came in light also when the Galwan thing happened and before with the Chinese. So if you could tell us about that force and how was your experiences there?
Yeah, then again, as I mentioned, मैं कारगिल लेबनान से आने के बाद डेप्यूटेशन स्पेशल फ्रंटियर फोर्स में हो गया. So first of all, we have to be a paratrooper. ठीक है, so training हुआ था paratrooper. We have to do 5 jumps, 4 day jumps, and 1 night jump. The training was again tough. Training was tough. Jump was easy. ठीक है, so it was a different experience again. And वो लोग के headquarter चक्राता में, very beautiful place. ठीक है, again in Uttarakhand, beautiful place where it is not accessible to civilians, but very, very beautiful. ठीक है, and in this organization, there are women also, women soldiers, and who are paratroopers for specific mission. And I'm not allowed to speak in detail of all this, but all I can say is they're extremely different and they're extremely tough. They are born in that high altitude, environment. When we struggle with shortage of oxygen and this thing, they can really run on this thing. I think they were the ones who led, who were the pioneers or who contributed a lot during the initial phase of the Kargil war, also by laying all the ropes and this thing. Really, really tough, but discipline बहुत कम था. Discipline was, I was struggling with the discipline. Especially in Leh, I spent some time in Leh before going up to Kargil. Leh में तो दारू पी पी के ना चाकू चाकू से मारता था. I mean, it was so very difficult to control these people, and I was like, how do I control them? ठीक है, how do I discipline them? At least bring some softness to all these people. How do I manage in 14 locations in Kargil unless they started fighting with चाकू से या this thing? So I managed them, and we did it together. One of the advantage thing they find with me was, the food habit was very, very similar. In that kind of place in Kargil, kind of thing, 17,700, where you had to depend on canned food and this thing, no? I was eating whatever they were eating, yeah, and veg, non-veg, this thing. But when the food habit of that officer becomes very different, because I am also, our food habit is very similar. First is that, it becomes very difficult for the soldiers also to take care of the officers when the food habit is very different for that particular officer. So one, they are very tough. Okay. Number two, they were lacking in discipline. But once you are able to control them through your, leadership or through empathy, uh, you know, whichever qualities of leadership qualities that you want to use for them, and win their hearts and minds, and it becomes very easier for us. And I had a great time, 2 years of my best times with them, and so that's about them. And in a very subjective, superficial this thing, because I'm not allowed to speak too much in detail about them.
Got it, sir. So if you could speak about your posting in the Lebanon, where you were doing the UN peacekeeping, representing the India. So if you could explain, how was that experience when you were posted there with the other officers from the different countries?
Lebanon, United Nations peacekeeping, Lebanon is considered as a five-star mission in uniform. Okay, so it's a beautiful country, beautiful place, and it was the year 2004. So the numerical number is very important because 2006, 2005, the riots began again. So when we were there was total peace. So main responsibility was we were deployed at the border between Israel and Lebanon, and we were with blue color flag and this thing and united. So we were like portraying a massive key. We are neutral. We don't belong this side. We don't belong this side, and our responsibility is don't fight, and we are supposed to maintain peace. So it was you know it was an extremely uh, memorable and a good experience working with Italians. They provide helicopters and Ghana and in a multinational environment. And they also loved working with us, with Indians, and they came to our parties and raising days and all the functions. We worked really well together. And few things that we have learned from them also, okay, in India, when we have a this thing event, uh, 6 o'clock event, and our Jawans will be ready by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, kind of thing, such kind of things. But in their case, it's totally different. Okay, okay, 6 o'clock. I mean, a little bit of casual, but they were on time and they deliver. But the homework that we do in India, the sincerity, the effort, it's much more comparing with them. Otherwise, it was very, very good, and we did our responsibilities really well in maintaining peace. Nothing, no untoward incident happened during the entire 1 year, and that's about it. And my few observation about Lebanon was every evening we go for patrolling in Toyota Land Cruiser for about 2 hours. Okay, and the place, Lebanese, they respect their every evening when we go out for patrolling, kind of thing. Almost, they are very leisure-seeking people. They work from 8 o'clock till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Their offices winds up by 3 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, every household they brought out their senior citizens, their parents, their grandparents, and sit in the beach side, Bahara balcony, may have coffee and biscuits together almost every day. What I had learned was like how they have developed so much, after being so much of destruction done in the year 1978 to 80, during these 2 decades, kind of thing. How they have come up so well is they respect their seniors. They have cultures. They have high respect of cultures, and they respect their seniors very much. And because of that, they are able to progress very very fast. So that was my takeaway from Lebanon also.
Got it, sir. So you had once told me that you also had experience behind the enemy line. So if you could briefly tell us about that experience as well.
In the year 2001, when the terrorists attacked Parliament, so we had one operation called Operation Parakram. Like it was so we were deployed. I was just about 6 months old in the organization, in the unit. Okay, so it was September pass out and no 1 year plus. Okay, we were doing young officers course in Mao, Madhya Pradesh. So we were called in. Our course was shortened, and we were deployed in the border. Okay, everything was underground, and the instruction was shoot at first sight with Pakistan. So on this particular day, it was 9 September 2001. I had gone inside behind the enemy lines with 10 of my strongest soldiers, the Ghatak, before last flight to lay ambush. We had crossed the no man's land, and yeah, the instruction was shoot at first sight. On that same particular day, my elder brother, who was in sub-inspector in narcotics department, and he also got a mission in Manipur, in Imphal, to, there was a messenger, there was a drugs coming, a word of 4 crores coming from Burma towards his land. He went to nab that. What of us, what happened is, what of us were in an operation simultaneously? Similar time, similar time. I was inside behind enemy lines, and he was there for that drugs consignment to nab it. And I came back to India at this thing uh, around 8:30 across the border BSF force. And by the time I reached India, I got a message, something happened. And from that place to the place that I was staying, I had to walk another half, half an hour. So by the time I reached that place, I was informed, Captain Amrit, we are very sorry to inform you, your brother has been ambushed. He was killed in action, or during those days, it was called martyr. Okay. I lost my brother on that same day. Okay. So when both of us were in that specific mission for the country, or for the, that comes with the responsibilities with our uniform. God had already decided one of us had to go, and it was him. Then it took about 3 days, 3 to 4 days to reach home. And by the time I reached Manipur, Imphal, my hometown, the state funeral was given, and I missed everything. So that's about that incident. Yeah, in short.
Got it, sir. So if you could also describe the feeling, when you are in the combat zone and you lose somebody from the family, how did that, affect your decision making post that?
Akash, frankly speaking, when you were wearing that uniform, okay, and first of all, you were never alone. You were never alone. You were with your troops. You were with your responsibilities. There are expectations, or look, every second, every moment, they are looking up to you for the directions, for the decisions that you're going to give, and for the directions. That's why you are an officer. So I had forgotten, that concept of switch on and switch off, voila. So I had totally removed that from my mind. There was, when I was wearing that uniform, those thoughts of about being emotional or sentimental about home or something did not ever come. And I have responsibilities. I have a task in hand. There are people, there's a responsibility being expected out of me. I have deliverables, so it never affected me. So maybe when I go to the bathroom, when I have some idle time, when I have some me time, those things did come, but not when I was wearing uniform and certain things were being expected out of me, not during that time.
Got it, sir. So you served in the Indian Army for 6 years and then you left. So if you could tell us, what was the decision which led you to, leave the army and come to the corporate world?
I love army. I was in the short service commission officer. I had you know, option of extending it and making it permanent also. As I just mentioned 2 minutes ago, when I lost my elder brother, okay, I was at the Punjab border, in a remotest border. Okay, from that border, after getting the message, I reached Mamun in Pathankot on the next day. So 24 hours is gone. From Pathankot, then again reaching Delhi, another day is gone. And from Delhi, there was only one flight those days. Okay, Jet Airways from Imphal. It was totally full. I literally cried and requested him to take me along, allow me to sit in the cockpit, and I was going to miss the funeral of my elder brother. One point. Um, when my brother was killed in action, he had 3 children. His 3 children were studying in Shillong in class 4, class 6, and class 9. Yeah, yeah. My elder sister Kamla, she was taking care of 3 of them. Okay. My sister took all 3 of them home, and my 3 nephews lead the peer of my elder brother. And my father was quite old. Till this day, I consider that as the biggest regret in my life. It was my responsibility. I was supposed to do it, and I missed it because of the inconveniences of being in that remotest border and reaching home, which took me about 3 to 4 days, and I really missed it. And I kept that as the biggest regret in my life. Second incident was when I went up to Kargil after coming back from Lebanon. My eldest sister, that Kamla I just mentioned, she was supposed to get married, and she was engaged. And I climbed up in Kargil in November, and I climbed up in January. Okay, and I told them, "Ki, I don't need anything. I have to go home. I need holiday in November. November, December, we get 60 days of leave, and November, December for 10 months I will work here in Kargil, and these 2 months I have to be there to arrange the wedding of my elder sister, and it's going to be intercaste marriage, Hindu and Christian. Take care. By the time came, the snowfall began, and there was no officers to relieve me. So I reached home. My sister was teaching in Shillong. She took leave for 4 days, and she went home and did all the arrangements by herself, print the invitation card, send out the invitation card. And I reached home on 4th of December. The wedding was on 14th of December. By the time I reached home, my parents were quite old, okay, and mom had an accident also. Scooter hit her. So by the time I reached home, everything, all arrangements were done. Okay, I just reached home, and I'm the most important person. I'm useless. and just useless. So these two incidents, ki my sister's wedding and my missing the funeral of my elder brother. I- काम तो कभी भी कर सकता है. I have done a lot for the uniform also, but when there are moments where the family really needs you. That is called emergency. Your parents or this thing, certain things that you should not be missed, which is non-negotiable, and I miss all those things. Can that made me decide कि I can really work hard in, the different in industries also. But when a family also needs you, you have to be there for them. And the regret that my three nephews, class 4, class 6, and class 9, led a peer of their father, and that that was the reason कि, I I will leave the uniform now.
Got it, sir. So, sir, in the corporate world also, you were with the Spencer Retail, Metro Cash, and Carry, Big Basket. So these were also equally challenging jobs, but very different from the life in the army. So how did you use those military tactics in the business?
Uh, I did MBA from Accelerate after Indian Army. Then Spencer's hired me to be the operations manager. And during this moment also, we were in uniform and we were thinking like we were just good in people management skills and administration. So I specialize in HR and marketing in Accelerate, and I gave interview for HR in Spencer. But this thing, the head HR and operations head that time in the year 2007, they had a lot of vision and they had a lot of expectations and love Indian Army. Okay, like, hey, you can do anything and everything. We are not giving you HR. You will lead operations here, sales and operations. That's how my new career began. And I was in retail for 18 years. All the companies that you had mentioned are all retail. Okay, and that's a service industry. And the first and foremost expectations out of them is discipline. Okay, so it just fits in. It's like from that place to this place again. Now, in the uniform, all the soldiers were also trained, and our DNAs were synced with a common purpose. Here, you have to train anybody and everybody out of nowhere. Okay, and trying to match them with the values of the company or the organization or your purpose. So, okay, so first of all, it was discipline was the driving force, and ultimately discipline, people, process, and customer service. So I just focus in all these three things, and in and out again and again, again and again, briefing, debriefing, debriefing. That's how we all sell together. And ultimately, the connecting point was the discipline, preparedness, and all the military strategies and techniques that we had done. I used it here in a lighter note. Otherwise, there will be a lot of chaos and
Got it, sir. So during the COVID-19, you were part of the Big Basket operations. So you were literally feeding a lot of people who couldn't step out at that point in time because of the restrictions that were there. So if you could tell us, how was that situation? Because it was no less than a combat situation or an operation that time.
it was more difficult than a combat operation during that time, because in combat operation we knew who the enemy was, and our strategy could be designed based on who the enemy was. But here the enemy is everywhere. COVID, the surface that somebody touch, you touch it. Surface could be your enemy, the ear, you know. So it was quite difficult, and especially after this thing, the prime minister announced, no, on this thing, the first announcement, okay, on 23rd March, I think, no? What happened was, 50% of the employees left the organization and ran away to their villages, and that was the most challenging part. Okay, and I was working with only 50% of the employees, and we had a everyday meeting with the CEO. Amrit, you are very lucky in Ahmedabad and Gujarat. I was taking care of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh, and you are very lucky. You still have 50% of the employees. Others, they have around 20% to 30%. Everybody has left, but we have to deliver now. So what we did was, no, so uh, I work very closely. I became to work very closely with the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation, also the commissioner here. They call us, ki, we really need, there are kitchens. It became so sudden, ki, there were so many households, there are so many kitchens without, empty kitchens. And, okay, and they were disabled, handicapped parents, senior citizens lying at home, and babies and these things. So these were the emergencies that we had to service. So especially in the case of my place, Ahmedabad, we were selling about 18,000 articles products, no? So we cut down to only about 4,000 basic necessity जो breakfast and kitchen में चाहिए इसी work and not limiting के पागल पैनिक शॉपिंग शुरू हो गया एक आदमी ने 20,000 के लिए खरीदेगा 1 लाख के लिए खरीद only in दाल चावल kind of thing ठीक है so it became very very difficult extremely challenging I had very limited manpower सबसे पहले आकाश me and my team we शुरुआत में मैंने चैटबॉट क्रेडो बोला था ना the safety honor and welfare of your country comes first always and every time and उसके बाद the people that you command with yes we use it here we make a small video and we share it across all big basket also कि we our employees please come out we need you we need to this is the time our country needs us ठीक है कोविड वॉरियर्स में कौन कौन आ सकता है ग्रोसरी सेलर्स उसी टाइम पुलिस एंड डॉक्टर्स ये सब मेजरली स्पेशली द grocery this thing ठीक है so expectation was कि we especially in my place in Ahmedabad we were servicing about 6,000 households every day so the commissioner told me कि Amrit we need about we'll provide all the help we'll give you you have to touch 16,000 households I'm talking about the first wave okay first wave and second wave ठीक है so first wave was very very strict extremely stringent okay and extremely difficult. So many big shots call me this thing or place orders and they would call me. They would request for an emergency, all okay, immediate delivery kind of thing, which was humanly impossible for me. Okay. So the municipal corporation AMC told me to we'll provide a bus with police protection. We'll go to the villages, pick up those employees, and we need people. We need to touch. Don't give too much of items, but basic. You have to touch 16,000 households every day. And we did it, Akash, we did it. By hook or by crook, we managed it and we deliver about it. Small items, basic, say around, say, 200 rupees kind of basket size, containing dal, bread, breakfast and lunch and this for the next 2 to 3 days kind of thing. We service it, small basket size and about 16,000 households during the first COVID wave. Yeah.
That's nice, sir. So there is also a concept of building tiger teams, which you had mentioned. So if you could describe what that means and how do you transfer this amount of brotherhood from the army to the business teams?
Akash, I work in the service industry. Okay, so service, customer expectations, customer this thing, and what I've realized was the need to create to make things happen, be it processes, be it your anything to in auto mode, whatever challenges that you have, do the thorough diagnosis first, and figure out all the solutions to that, and let it work in an auto mode. Okay, so things became very challenging for me also when I started a big basket in Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh in the year 2015, and a lot of expansion was happening till 2020 kind of thing, where you yourself feels like you need 20 of your duplicates kind of thing. So you need to be everywhere. You need to be in two projects were launched, two cities were launched simultaneously, back to back kind of thing. And that was the time, when you feel like when you have to give everything about yourself, you need a duplicate of yourself. So how do you create a duplicate yourself? That is creating a tiger team. Whatever you want, at least for your direct report is for your next 14 sets of people, make them as strong as you. Share everything, whatever you know. Okay, so that was the concept of tiger team. What happened was I was the profit and loss owner of my own Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh in 18 cities. Okay, so whatever every month when I discuss profit and loss, I involve everyone, all my direct reporters, the HR, the trainers, and this thing. So once a particular month, I had to go to Mumbai in Tata Hospital for one of my relatives, and I missed this monthly profit and loss presentation from my city. My HR did the presentation on profit and loss. HR doing profit P&L presentation. So that speaks about creating a tiger team to me. And second, when we have this customer complaint review I was supposed to present it, but I spend time, I invest my time on this 14 direct reportee. My trainer did the presentation because, and then she came in the limelight. Okay, and my offset, who was an intern. Okay, I immediately after he completed intern, I hired him and placed him the operations role. Everyone was turned. Okay, this operations role, logistics. You need an experienced people. I said, give him some time. Give him some time to to develop, to evolve. In 3 months to 6 months, he became number one in the country. Okay, so that is my concept of investing in your people. Share everything, don't hide anything, and one team, one goal mission. So that was my purpose of concept of creating a tiger team.
Makes sense, sir.
And
So
this thing, Akash, one more thing, yeah. When I came here in Ahmedabad to launch Big Basket, okay, so like the army, I was very fortunate to stay in I got a huge bungalow with a caretaker and around 8,000 square feet, a huge bungalow with garden where I could accommodate 500 people for party. That was the time even Shahrukh Khan had not become our brand ambassador for Big Basket, okay. So that was the time key we were just setting up and operations had not begun and the process has already begun. And that was the time I felt I utilized all I had learned from the Indian Army as a commanding officer or a brigadier key. My mom was staying with me, my wife. So every weekend once in 3 days or this thing, every weekend we cooked and they cooked and we feed about 300 employees and their families every week, and within 2 months or 3 months kind of thing, we covered the entire people and their families that I was going to work with. And I felt like that was also creating a tiger team. And for the next 6 months to 8 months, 8 years kind of thing, and attrition was almost zero.
that's very nice, sir. So that's again a part of the empathy that you learned to how to build it with your team, I think.
Yes, that's empathy only. Yeah.
So if you could also speak about, you were part of the Indian Army as in the combat, and then you were also part of the boardroom. What was more harder for you, leading the soldiers in the combat, or leading the executives in the meetings?
Boardroom is harder. Why? Because I told you, in yeah, soldiers also they got trained with a purpose, country, country, safety, welfare, and country, security of the country. So they had a mission, and it's just like I, as an officer, went work with them to give directions, to lead them to this thing. So we were in one mission. The mission remains the same. Whereas in corporate, almost everybody, nook and corner of the country from different background, from different value system comes in, and you trying to enforce certain things they won't like it. And Akash, frankly speaking, you are also working in corporate, 90% of the people, employees across the organization, ask them about what is the value and culture of your organization. Many of them will be struggling because many of the organizations in corporate, they don't even work on values and cultures of the organization. They work on their respective OKR, KRA, KPI. It's very self-centric and promotion-based. Whereas in the uniform, the OKR is for the country. The country is the responsibility is country. So uniform becomes easier and bottom is very difficult.
Makes sense, sir. Sir, I was also reading about the Rang De Social Investor. So you had touched almost 180 lives across 17 states. So, and you also believe that, it's more important to give happiness. So when did you realize this?
Akash, I come from a middle class family. I told you about my parents were teachers and they were, very generous and I learned it from them. Okay, one, two, then it's not only me, it's the entire family. And my mom used to, she was such a good cook. Whenever she cooks good food, she cooks in huge amount and give it to around 20 families kind of thing. And we believe in sharing, harmony, and giving and eating together. So all of us, we six siblings, inherited that legacy from our parents. So and I studied from Don Bosco Infal, where I'm still in touch with my school principal. He was in Italy. Okay, daily he sends me good morning messages, and every day my teachers and my school principal Don Bosco, he's a father, so I'm still in touch with him. He taught all these moral values about since the day I joined the corporate, he has been emphasizing in me try to save and give at least contribute 3 to 10% of your earnings, give back to the community, and it is also in my DNA. Then during this COVID period, after COVID, I happened to come across this Rang Day started by Smita and Ram Krishna on rural farmers and rural entrepreneurs, giving a little interest rates and not free. Anything that is free does not have any value. Take care. So they charge minimal interest and they give this thing to farmers and rural entrepreneurs, okay, who need about say 30,000 to 50,000 to 70,000 as a loan to start their own business, be it piggery, be it farming, be it anything. So I really got impressed with this idea. And it's not that I'm a very big investor. I contribute in a small amount, but touching all these things, and it really made me happy. Yeah.
Got it, sir. Sir, about today's youth wants a lot of shortcuts so that they can become successful. You have been in the Kargil, you have been in the industry in the corporate world. What will be your message to the youth who would be listening?
Akash, and this is including you also. You have been doing well, but my only message is there is no shortcut to success, and uh, focus on building your own brand. Identifying your own value system. That value system comes from your parents, your family, your origin. Okay, number one, you have a value system about your parents, about your family. Start from there. And what is the strength? Do your own SWOT analysis. What is the strength in you? Like some people are very empathetic, some people are technically sharp, and create your own brand and never ever do shortcut to impress anybody or this thing. And my only message is it the process might be a little bit slower, okay, but let your performance speak. Let the numbers in your performance speak, not by doing things to make your boss happy or the decision makers happy. Not in that way. Work hard, build your brain, invest in yourself for a better version of yourself, okay, and it will really pay off. Especially when someone is working in a corporate, competitors are also looking at you to absorb you. So focus on building your own brand.
Got it, sir. So if I can ask you, if you were young again and 25 years ago in the offsetting academy and you see yourself today, what would surprise you the most?
Akash, since childhood, I think at the age of two that I can think of, I was fiercely independent and highly disciplined and obedient. Okay, so whatever I have been doing till now, since that is till now, it's all one step further ahead of that progression of the discipline. So I don't think I have done uh, a paradigm shift kind of thing. So it is not surprising. I have a value system. I'm very ethical. I'm high on integrity, and I'm a self-made person and highly on discipline. And I had status quo. Okay, so nothing is surprising me. I'm just progressing myself. I'm investing on myself for a better version of me. So that's about it.
Got it, sir. So you have been a warrior, you have been an entrepreneur, you have been a mentor, and you are now also into fitness and lifestyle enthusiast. So what is the legacy that you are now trying to build?
Continuation of what I had already spoken about, building your brand, and this thing is, enjoy the moment. I guess certain point of time, have time for yourself. However busy you may be, have try to find your own time, prioritize yourself, the me time, the me time, the we time with your family, with your loved ones, which is very, very important. I have few friends you know, who have hefty pay packages and who doesn't have half an hour to give himself to do basic exercise or walking, and where body weight keep on increasing, piling up, what diet, high blood pressure, medicine, and this is the message Akash. In 2015 to 2023 kind of thing, I was also leading when I was working in those corporate kind of thing. It was quite stressful. Okay, so I was one of them where I could not find time for myself for me time or exercise or follow the patient. So because of that, I was on high blood pressure for almost this 8 years. But then I put a post, slow down life, and try to follow my patients, and started all this athletics and prioritizing on myself and investing on myself. And I'm off medicine now. So live a life. Life is too short. The average lifespan in India, especially, or is was 76 years. So 76 years, 50% of 76 years is like 38. So senior citizens doesn't come with 50 years or 60 years. It has already begun from 38 years. When will you live your life?
Got
One
it,
should
sir.
even think of making your own retirement plan from the age of 50 to 53. Kind of live your life when you are prime in your life. Okay, make your own calculations, do backward calculations. Try not to do high engaging 9 to 5 kind of jobs. Slow down your life from the age of 50 to 53. For that, you need to have financial independence and focus on personal freedom.
Got it, sir. Sir, I think that also relates to the concept that you are mentioning about, 50 is the new 30. If you could, describe that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So last almost a year now, I realize I love running. Okay, I love running. Then I'm into cycling and swimming also, triathlon, and I love hiking. But running is my passion now. So running 3 days of gym. So I have been running regularly in this last 1 year, and it has the kind of transformation it has given in my body, in my health, in my happiness is quite visible to the world in social media and all my friends. And whenever I go out and whenever I run, certain people, some people stop me. "Okay, why are you running?" I said, "I love running." Then he asked, then आपका उम्र कितना है? मैंने बोला आप कितना लगता है? 35. I am going to be 50 very soon. I said, you don't look like 50, you are lying. And मैंने उसको पूछा आपका उम्र कितना है? 45. And he looked like my father with all beard and pot valid and this thing. And I'm not talking about one person. I'm talking about majority of this thing. Now they motivate me. Okay, I'm in the right path. Okay, I'm okay. Work is something, how you get your money, monetizing it is something else. But this aspect is also equally important. And Rakesh, I got this inspiration, the lessons learned from Rakesh Jhunjhunwala when he was having so much of money and he could not prioritize on health. And so, I need to, uh, I started working, investing on myself, upgrading myself. And I'm like, why can't be a promoter and influencer for, 50 is the new 30 just by allotting half an hour to 1 hour every day. Even all the corporate honkos and corporate employees, highly engaging work with hefty pay packages, and at least give 1 hour to yourself. That is the message. 50 is the new 30.
That makes sense, sir. Sir, the final rapid fire round. I'll ask you some quick questions. Probably you can tell me whatever you feel about it. So the first one would be, what was the biggest lesson that you learned from Kargil?
The biggest lessons that I have learned from Kargil is the soldiers are working in an inhospitable environment, terrain, and inclement weather. And many of the situations when there is ceasefire, Pakistan is not an enemy. Those inclement weathers and inhospitable terrain is an enemy, and the soldiers are living in a very surviving on canned foods kind of thing. We need to, empathize a lot for them. Yeah, that's the
And
lessons learned.
and what was the hardest moment in the transition from the army to the corporate for you?
I am very disciplined. So when you make up your mind, I was the only one who make up my mind. When you have already made up your mind, nothing is hard. You should be mentally prepared to face all the consequences.
Got it,
It's
sir.
not hard. Yeah.
So one advice that you have for the SSB aspirants who wants to join the forces.
Yeah. During this entire course of the discussion, I have also highlighted be very, very, very genuine. Okay. Focus, especially the first written part, focus on general studies, all the learning part in the English. Once you crack it, interview is something. And I mentioned about my interview of the final day of interview where they kept a psychologist also behind a curtain, right? There was a psychologist, okay, who gave the final judgment. Okay, where this officer has it in him to lead these people. Otherwise, one wrong decision can, destroy somebody's family also. So be honest, and it's a beautiful organization, and the kind of transformation that Indian Army will make you during the 1 year of training will they make a man from boys. This is the tagline. We were made into boy. They made men from boys in 1 year. So you can well imagine.
Got it.
And second thing is like few people ask me, "Ki, you're from Manipur, Northeast, and with a different features. How do you find Gujarat settling in Gujarat kind of thing?" I said, हमारा एक परिचय था इंडियन आर्मी में. ठीक है, मैं भारत का एक सिपाही हूँ. जहां जहां उड़ी तिरंगा वहां वहां घर मेरा है. और जब तक ये झंडा ऊंचा है तब तक सर मेरा ऊंचा है. So
That's
that's for
nice.
SSB. And what I meant to say is the whole country wherever there is national flag is your home. So you don't belong to only one place. Like Shah Rukh Khan said the India dialogue, the introduction, India. So please work hard and please join, and you will enjoy it. Okay. Everybody will respect you. Everywhere in the country where there is a military establishment, it's your home. You can stay as a guest house. You and your families, and you and your friends and families.
Got it, sir. So Millie and Bhutto, do you still think about them? I understand that you have your Labrador also there on the bed.
I do, but they were with me in the year 2005. 2005. Now it's 20 years. They must have gone to heaven by now. After that, I also lost contact. I was still in touch because we did not use mobile phones now. And even if even if my friends were still serving in uniform, I don't disturb them asking their locations and this thing in WhatsApp or their location. Certain things has to be, tactically handled. So
Got it,
yeah.
sir. Sir, about your brother, his memory. So how do you now remember him or honor him?
Yeah, on his birthday, I remember him all the time. He comes on my dreams. Whenever I purchase new things like a new camera, DSLR camera, or this thing, he comes on my dreams, and I used to tell him, "Hey, I purchased this. This is the latest click. This is the photography I've done. This is the this thing. Oh, I am getting ready for triathlon." I have conversation with him and with my parents too. And on his birthday, and on the day he was killed, and I make it a point. I do something exceptional. Maybe Sai Baba temple में जाके सबको खाना खिलाना around 5,000 people, or his birthday is 31st December. So the last this thing last birthday I did a solo ride of 100 kilometers in cycling just to dedicate it to him. And in the entire journey, I was having conversation with him again.
That's very nice, sir. Sir,
Yeah,
you had mentioned that, Carpe Diem is your favorite motto. If you could speak about that.
yeah. Carpe diem is like Akash message to everyone ki live for the moment. जियो जिंदगी अभी इसी वक्त ठीक है and worrying about too much for the future don't kill your present tense. When I say the present moment, it includes the the people and friend circle that comes in the in the pages of this chapter of your life during these moments. Don't ignore them. Have time for them.
Got it, sir. Sir, as an Indian Army officer, you wore the uniform, you were part of different units, leading a lot of troops. All of them come from a different background, different religion. So what did you follow then?
See, in Akash, Indian Army uniforms and entire defense system, not only Army, Navy, Air Force, we follow what the soldiers follow. Especially in Indian Army, many of the troops are Marathi, many of the troops are distinguished. Assam, for example, Assam Regiment. You must have heard about Assam Regiment and Naga Regiment. 80% or 70% are Christian. So we have this unit Mandir temple, in temple. So we have Ganeshji and all the Hindu god and goddesses, and there is this thing, uh, Jesus Christ also. So all the gods are together, especially in army unit temple. And Indian Army officer follow. We don't talk about religion. We follow the religion of our soldiers. So the last 2 years when I was in Kargil, I followed Buddhism because my troops were Tibetans, and I followed Buddhism. And uh, there were few, three, four Indian soldiers with me. So uh, Janmashtami in Kargil, we celebrated. We went there in minus 20. ठीक है, रात के 12 बजे. This thing is, we followed all the religions, but during the last 2 years of my life, I followed purely Buddhism. Then and we celebrated all the Hindu festivals also there.
Got it, sir. So my final question to would be, what was or what is your next big dream now?
Akash, I never stop investing on myself for a better version of myself. Always upgrading, and I've had good careers in corporate world, and I love my tenure in the army because of my achievement is I'm still in touch with my soldiers. Okay, so I'm still in touch with my ex-employees on people's front, and it was not a profession that I had, and it was a family. It was something that I had created. So I'm still in touch with them, and I work myself and on my fitness and upgraded myself, always investing,
Mm,
never stop investing, always challenge my status quo. So I feel, the universe is giving me signals ki I'm going to rise again on a global platform. Something, it can be a hallucination. It could be a hope. Ki I'm meant for whatever I have. Even this discussion with you is many people should be reached out, and there are certain good things that had happened to me also. It should be known to people, and I should be able to help. And I'm always ready to help. I'm always available. I never say no to students. And during the last 10 years when I'm in Ahmedabad in that profession, many of the institutions have been requested me for guest lecture, for motivation talk. I never say no to students. So I think I'm ready, and the universe is making me ready for something uh, to contribute in a bigger platform, in bigger manner for a wider audience.
That, that
That's my
that's
hope and belief.
that's very nice, sir. I hope you get the platform and what you are dreaming of. And thanks a lot again, sir, for your time here and sharing your experiences from the army, from the corporate world, and in between the lessons that you have learned with the aspirants here. So thanks again, sir. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Akash, and Jai Hind. And to all the SSP aspirants, Jai Hind, and work hard, do well, and always remember the tagline: "Do you have it in you? Do you have it in you in the Indian Army?" And it's a beautiful profession. And do well, Jai Hind.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Akash.